Thank you so much, Raul, for being here today, and welcome back to Australia and back to Perth.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be back, and what are your thoughts on WA?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels weird being back in Australia. I haven't been in Australia in like 3 months, and to come back to Perth is like, feels like I'm home, but also like I don't recognize anything. Like I've barely spent any time here. I love it here though. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I need to come back and properly explore like beaches and, you know, drive up and down the coast around because, yeah, I'm a massive surfer fan, so I wanna experience the WA surf. But yeah, I'm very happy to be back in Australia though in general.
Mm-hmm. Are you planning on performing in Perth, WA anytime soon? Or?
Yeah, next year is the plan for sure to you know, come back, go all the way around. I've just announced one show in Sydney in December for the album like release show, and then yeah, next year we'll come around and do the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, obviously your album is out on October 17th.
Yes.
How are you feeling about that release and when it, you know, finally comes out in the world?
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous, I suppose. Like release week is always a little bit I don't know, you get a little bit tentative, but it kind of feels like an assignment you have to hand in after like 2 years of working on like a project that's like your baby. And then it's like I'm getting my marks back on next Friday. I'm like, what's it gonna be, you know? And I don't know. I'm very proud of it, and I'm super happy with the album, and I just can't wait to see what people think, and I can't wait to play the songs live.
Yeah. And what was the inspiration around this one?
I mean, a million things. So the start of the writing was like 2 years ago, and yeah, I was just coming off a massive tour, so I was just trying to writing about life in general, and then kicking my feet in the title came from just me slightly being more vulnerable about like talking about love in, I guess, more of a positive way, because I'd never really written songs like too much about love that didn't have like some sort of twist or breakup or trauma in it, because I didn't think it was worth writing about unless it was sad. But for this album I was like, nah, like you got to lean into the cringiness sometimes and lean into like the sincerity and kind of being earnest. And I found like a pocket of just writing, you know, overly dramatic, emotional songs that in the end of the day were just, you know, pretty simple love songs.
Yeah. And yeah, because as you said, like, yeah, your lyrics are quite vulnerable and kind of leads into that like softer side. I guess how was that for you, like sort of during that process, like writing them down and...
Yeah. I've always been a very open book, like especially with working with other people. Like I've never really had too much of a filter, and especially in the studio, because I know that's where the good stuff is like the stuff that you have to kind of pull out of you. So yeah, I've never had a problem with it, but I guess it's just like, yeah, the songs that I chose for this album were definitely the most vulnerable, I suppose, on each side of the spectrum. Like the songs that were about things that are, you know, going wrong and, you know, the woe is me, as much as the like, you know, I love yous. Yeah.
And I think I read that during like the album process you wrote, you know, like 100, 200 songs or whatever. Yeah. What are you gonna do with the leftover ones? Are they
it's pretty wild. I'm like, there's a bunch of bad songs in there for sure. I mean, you're never gonna write 200 great songs, but I guess I had like 20 that I was picking from, like when I went to the album, like when I went to like actually for track listing. Like I was writing for 2 years, obviously you write that many, but throughout the time you kind of put songs on the whiteboard that like you feel like are non-negotiable. I feel like they have to be on there. And then once I had about 20, I could pick from 10. But yeah, all the other leftovers, I suppose, I hope like at least in that 20 will definitely see the light of day one day. Like I love them so much.
Mm-hmm. One song that I guess everyone's really loving at the moment, I Can Die Now, it's been out for a little bit, but how did that feel when it premiered at Times Square?
That was incredible. Yeah, that was such a weird pinch me moment for sure. Yeah, seeing the video come up, it was just weird. Like they told us that it was only just going to be like a snippet of the video and they're going to play it once. It was with MTV.
Yeah.
And yeah, they basically kind of underplayed it a lot, but obviously not underplaying a Times Square billboard, like any slot is pretty amazing. But yeah, so I went there and I put out an Instagram post that I was going to be there and I had like a bunch of fans around. Then it came up and they played the whole video from start to finish, like multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Like it was just way more than we all thought. It
Yeah.
was just like I just didn't end, and I was like, when I don't want to leave, and I just ended up staying there for like an hour, just like watching it, and yeah, I couldn't believe it as well.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. So you're living in LA now, is that
Yeah,
correct?
moved to LA a couple years ago.
Yeah. How are you liking living there, and how's it compared to Australia?
Yeah, I mean it's super different, like culturally, I suppose, and personnel wise. But honestly, like LA is pretty close to Sydney in terms of overall like lifestyle.
Like, yeah.
It's very outdoorsy. Like the weather's pretty great. We got a beach. They've got surf. They've got all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, I feel like I'm still finding my feet in terms of like I don't know, trying to find some sort of sense of community there.
Yeah.
Because there isn't really any sense of
Okay.
community in LA. It's very much people come in and out and they're there to work. But I don't know, I definitely turn into a bit of a workaholic when I'm there, which I kind of like because I'm not usually in Australia. I'm pretty laid back and, you know, I like my time off here. But when I'm in LA, I feel like I'm locking in.
Yeah, because very music focused,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
there's a lot of, I guess, producers and
Yeah, exactly.
collaborators
There's just so
over
much
there.
going on. It's just like you feel like you should be getting out there and, you know, making
Yeah.
things happen.
Yeah, and you know you've worked with a lot of well-known producers and collaborators. Is there anyone else on your list next that you sort of want to work with?
Honestly,
Put it out there?
this album was so much of the start of relationship with so many producers.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether it was like Dan Wilson or Kenny Beats or
Yeah.
Julian Bonetto and John Ryan, like I hadn't worked with them much at all. Like really probably for the first time over the past couple years, and the fact that I got this album out of like the first time with a lot of people makes me want to just see what we can do again.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously as well, I've been working with M Phases since I was
Mm-hmm.
a kid, and he worked on this album as well, and we still have that really great chemistry and kind of, you know, telepathic sort of vibe in the studio now because it's been so long. So I think I'll stick to the crew most likely for the next project. But there are so many people I would love to work
Yeah.
with, you know, just to try.
There's a lot of talent out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So once this album is out, are you going to be playing shows, like touring?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah. So I mean, I've just announced one show in Sydney at the Forecourt, like Opera House Steps. which
Okay,
I
cool.
Can't wait for. It's going to be really, really fun on December 9th. And then next year, I mean, yeah, the plan is to go all the way, whip around the world and come back to Australia and do the whole thing out here. And yeah, we're just locking in those dates now. So stay tuned for those.
I guess lastly, is there anything else that you want to say to your fans? I guess the ones that you're meeting later today at your fan event. They're really excited to see you. What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for sticking around. It's been a quiet 2 years for me, I suppose, writing this thing. So to see everyone coming back out and, you know, excited to see the album and hear the album and come to these signings and just all the love in general is reciprocated, and I can't wait to see what they think.